Hello there, my name's Tracy Elsom and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based in Canada. Today is October the 25th and for me it's actually Christmas Day. My daughter and son-in-law and granddaughter have come over from the UK, and as we won't be able to see them on 25th of December, we've decided to have Christmas today. So my project for you is very quick, and it's more of a how-to than an actual design. So basically I have a box here. It's a two-part box, so it's a tray box with a lid, and I'm going to show you how to work out how to make your own. Okay, so two-part boxes are really straightforward. Basically it's a tray. So all you need to do is to work out the sizes of the various parts of the tray. These will be your score lines. This isn't to scale, it's just a diagram. So you need to know how long you want that to be. So this will be your side. And I want that to be 4 inches roughly. Then that side also, I'm going to choose that one. I'm going to make it a square box, so I'm going to make it 4 inches. So that gives me that dimension there and that one there. Now I need to know how high it is. This box is 2 inches, so this is the height, and it's going to be 2 inches. And obviously the height is the same all the way round. So that's going to be 2 inches. There. And there. So all I need to do to work out what size piece of card to cut is to add up those 3 numbers, and that's 2 plus 4 plus 2, 8 inches. And the sides as well, 2 plus 4 plus 2, 8 inches. So my box is 8 by 8, and that will give me a 4 by 4 box with a 2-inch height there. Now for the top's done in exactly the same way, but it's going to be slightly shorter. So for me, the side on the top, again, not to scale, not even square, it's going to be 1 inch high by 4 inches by 1 inch, because it still has to go over this bit, so that has to be the same. And then again, the height is the same all round, so that means that's going to be 6 inches, and that is 6 inches. Now the problem is, if these were absolutely identical sizes, the top wouldn't go over the bottom. So what I'm going to do is you've got 2 options. First of all, you can increase the size of the top by about 1/32 of an inch. That's a really tiny amount, but that's what you would do. Or reduce the size of the bottom by the same amount. You only need to adjust one of them. And that 1/32 of an inch is enough to make the lid go over the top. Now I've already cut my DSP. This is the Year of Cheer Specialty DSP. It comes in 12 by 12 sheets, and I particularly wanted to use this. So I've cut this to 6 by 6 because that means I'll get 4 from a sheet. So because my top, I can't adjust the top because I can't make it any bigger without not being able to get 4 out of a sheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this one. I'm going to reduce the bottom by 1/32. So I need a piece of 8 by 8 and I'm going to reduce it. So let's bring in my trimmer. I have a piece of thick Whisper White card here, and this mark here this first one here is 1/16. I'm going to make it just kind of halfway, and I'm going to cut. Then I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to cut the other one, the other side. And again, I'm just going to do it just that little bit. So it's not quite 8 inches, but it's not a full, it doesn't go exactly down to that mark. So now I've just got to score it. Now you just score it on the lines that you have already decided. So I need to score it on all 4 sides at 2 inches. And what this will actually do is make the square part of the box very, very slightly smaller than the 4x4. If that's a really big problem for you, then you will have to increase the size of the lid. But for my purposes, it's not an issue, so I'm not going to worry about that. So there's my base piece. I have my DSP here. Now this one I wanted to make it 1 inch high. Now I've got to be a little bit more gentle with this because it is after all only DSP, so I'm not pushing too hard. I'm just scoring it very gently at 1 inch all the way around. Alright, so that's the scoring and the cutting done. Just bring in my paper snips, and you can see there you've got 4 little squares on the corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut straight up, and I'm going to take a little notch out of that and a little one just there. I'm just cutting up the scored line to where it comes, the scored line comes across. Pulling that out. There we go. Turn it around. Do exactly the same thing on the other side. Now, these are quite small tabs, but as you make bigger boxes, you come to realise that this notching is actually quite important. Have you ever tried to make a box, and I've got one here, where when you put the 2 sides together, you've got this sort of bit sticking up, if you can see that. That's what happens when you don't notch, because the card just can't get really in tight, or you end up with it all bulky. So by cutting those little notches, you will find that you can avoid that problem. Now again, because this is DSP and it's a lot less sturdy than the thick card, I'm just folding it and pressing it down with my fingers rather than going too tough with it with a bone folder. Now I'm going to bring in my fast fuse, and I'm going to put some fast fuse on each of those tabs. I would say when you're doing this, hold on to the tabs, especially when they're small like this, or the paper card is quite delicate. You can actually rip the tabs right off the box, and don't ask me how I know. Okay, so now I'm just tucking those in, lining up the edge of that side with the crease there. So this line here is lining up with that. Tuck that one in, and there I have my lid nicely done. Okay, same with the Whisper White thick card. This time I'm actually going to use my bone folder to really sharpen those creases, because this is thick card after all. It's made to be tough, but the principle is the same. We have the scored lines. I'm just going to cut right the way up, notch in, and do the same there. So do that on all 4 tabs. You don't have to cut an awfully big notch, but if you're not sure if you've cut enough, then just before you actually put the adhesive on the tab, just close it up as if you were sticking it down and just see, can you see that little edge bit? Is it sticking up? And if it is, you can then adjust it. So now exactly the same. Oops. There we go. And the last one. Again, oops, hang on to your pieces. There we go. So then, same thing. You're just going to tuck the tab in, line it up with that piece there, like that. And line it up like that, and you can see there's no bit sticking up. Then the lid, it's a tight fit, but it's tight enough, it goes on, it's tight enough, but it won't slip off when you're using it. So that's how you make a box, nice and simple. I'll do a nice tidy diagram like this, and I'll put that on my blog, so that you can use that to create any style, any size of simple 2-part box that you need for your projects. I hope that's been useful, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.